Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today is February 28th and I am on the last day of my alternate day fasting challenge for February. So if you recall guys, I talked about at the end of January that I was starting a alternate day fasting challenge for the month of February. I am on a weight loss journey. My goal is to lose 50 pounds over the course of this year through November. I want to lose 50 pounds by the time I turn 50 years old. And so I started in January. And so I had been hearing a lot about alternate day fasting. I am very familiar with fasting. I've been fasting off and on for many years, but I wanted to try this more extreme type of fasting, and it has been a roller coaster ride. So I want to just share with you my experience, the good, the bad, the ugly. So I'm just gonna kind of jump in and have a conversation with you guys. I tried to jot down just a couple of notes, but I'm really talking off script. Let's talk about the good of alternate day fasting. It has been the most effective weight loss strategy that I have done probably ever. I believe over the course of the month, I lost anywhere from 8 to 10 pounds. I'm not sure because during the month, I also got braids and my braids were kind of heavy. So I noticed after I got the braids, like the scale was 1 to 2 pounds more, but it was anywhere from 8 to 10 pounds. I had not probably ever lost that much weight in a month. However, that weight loss came with some challenges, right? Because your body is really, your metabolism is revved up and that makes a lot of things happen. The other thing is that I guess alternate day fasting is relatively easy in the sense of you do not have to think about what you're going to eat, how much you're going to eat, calories and all those types of things. When you eat what you want to eat. And when you don't eat anything. So you don't have to worry about looking at labels and counting calories. You just simply do not eat for a day for 36 hours. You don't eat anything. That is your fasting period. So the schedule worked like this. A fasting day was 36 hours. So I would, for example, stop eating on Sunday night at 7 p.m. and I would not eat again until Tuesday morning at 7 a.m. Once you eat, you have essentially 12 hours, a 12-hour window to pretty much eat what you want to eat, whatever you want to eat. And I did not restrict or diet or do anything like that in my feasting window. I pretty much ate what I wanted to eat. And then when 7 p.m. on Tuesday night would come, you would start it over. So that's the schedule. However, I think for the month, 28 days in this month, technically I would have fasted 14 days if I was doing it strictly. I ended up fasting somewhere between 10 and 12 days. 10 days where I definitely did, over 36 hours. I think my average fast was somewhere between 37 and 38 hours. And then a couple other days where I had longer fasts, maybe 20 hours or 24 hours, but it wasn't necessarily the entire 36 hours. It's very difficult to be strict with alternate day fasting because you have to live life, right? So in the month of February, we had the Super Bowl, we had Valentine's Day. If I was following strict to the schedule, my fasting days would have landed on Super Bowl Sunday and Valentine's Day. And I didn't want that, right? Because you have to be able to live and enjoy life. And so I had to change the schedule around to sort of accommodate those days. And that kind of threw the schedule off. And so that was kind of tricky. This is not about being perfect. It's just sort of putting forth the best effort to be as compliant and disciplined and honest with yourself as you can, right? So while it offers that flexibility in being able to go in and out of feast and fast and change the days around according to your life and your life activities, you do have to commit to getting back on track, right? And that piece is not necessarily difficult for me because I can change it around and get back on track. Like I mentioned in a prior video, once you have a certain mindset, the discipline and the consistency is pretty easy to follow. Yes, I felt the hunger pains And yes, it was a lot of discomfort. I just kept myself busy so that I can get through the fast. And it pretty much worked for me until the week of PMS. That was the most difficult portion of this whole fasting regimen for the month. Because while outside of PMS, when I was fasting, while it was difficult and I got hungry, I could deal with it. I could distract myself. I drank a lot of apple cider vinegar and water combination to suppress my appetite. I could do things like that to help me get through the fast when I was outside of PMS. But guys, when PMS started, my hormone levels changed so much that it took more than like willpower. My hormones were stronger than the willpower that I had, because I started to physically feel just not well. So trying to push myself during PMS felt like I was climbing Mount Everest. It was just really difficult, and I probably did the worst during that week. I don't think I did a full 36-hour fast. With fasting, and by the time I got into PMS, I was kind of deep into fasting. I was 2.5 or so weeks into fasting, so my body was really in a state of ketosis at that time. Alternate day fasting puts you in ketosis really fast, right? Where your body is using fat for fuel. When your body is using fat for fuel, it revs up your metabolism, it revs up your heart rate, and you can feel that, right? So oftentimes I felt like, heart palpitations, or I could tell that my heart was revved up. I really tried to drink a lot of electrolytes, because you can get very dehydrated during fasting, and that can contribute to the faster heart rate and all those things. In PMS, especially like perimenopause PMS, your estrogen dropped really low. And even if I weren't fasting, and I talked about this when I talked about, my walking challenge, every month during PMS, I would always have these anxiety attacks. And the reason why I would have them is because of that sensation of my heart beating faster and sort of having heart palpitations, because estrogen, the drop in estrogen, can cause that to happen. And you feel like you're in a fight or flight mode. Now, combine fasting, being in ketosis, my metabolism is revved up already. Now I go into PMS and my estrogen drops, which that raises your heart rate. It was a very uncomfortable situation. I ended up having a really major anxiety kind of panic attack one of the nights. I had gone to bed and I was feeling really jittery. I was really tired and I was really jittery, and I had gone to sleep. Well, I woke up out of my sleep and I had the sensation of my heart racing, and it just kind of led into a whole full out, panic attack where I really had to calm myself down and get it together. So I immediately said, okay, I cannot, even if I do this going forward, I cannot fast during PMS, right? I cannot do it, because the combination is just a lot on my system and it overwhelmed my mind. And so I said, okay, no fasting during PMS at all. And I had read and I had looked at a lady on here on YouTube, Dr. Mindy Peltz, I think her name is. She had talked about and suggested not fasting during the PMS period for a lot of different reasons, that it wasn't a good idea, but I thought I could just do it, and it absolutely not. The opposite side of that, in terms of a benefit of the fasting as it relates to perimenopause, and one benefit that I did not expect was that during perimenopause, you have a lot of hot flashes and night sweats. So I'm constantly going in and out of that. Well, fasting and ketosis, it produces a phenomenon by where you're just really cold all the time. It just makes you cold. I don't know if any of you have ever fasted, and I need to kind of look up and research why this happens. But when your body is in ketosis, you feel cold all the time. So unexpectedly during the month of February, I would say I suffered less with the hot flashes and the night sweats. It's like the ketosis and the coldness, the cold feeling that brings, it neutralized the hot flashes a little bit. It was weird. It was weird the way that worked. But I remember getting halfway through the month and feeling like, just kind of noticing, why I have not been having the hot flashes that I typically have, because for most of the month I stayed cold. How alternate day fasting works, and the reason why it works so well and why you can eat what you want to eat, during your feast days, is because the benefit of fasting for that 36 hours and your body getting into ketosis, it goes into the next day. So even though you eat whatever you want, your body still does not fully come out of ketosis. It takes, a couple of days or so for your body to kind of fully revert back and to get out of ketosis, which is why it's so effective. And also even when you feast, you eat less, because during fasting, something about fasting kind of makes your stomach shrink. And so even when you go into feasting, you may want to eat a whole buffet of things, but you're unable to, because your stomach just feels smaller and you're unable to eat as much. And so you can see how the calorie deficit throughout the course of the month is pretty significant. Also related to that, I had to learn to be very careful with what I ate coming out of my fast, because for the first few long fasts that I came out of, I just would eat anything. If I was craving something sweet, if I was craving carbs, I would eat it. And almost like clockwork, every time it would make me run to the restroom. It's just such a shock to the system when you're putting more food in. And so as the month went on, I started to kind of come out of the fast, kind of start drinking like some bone broth. There's this spicy bone broth, but spicy is probably not the best, that I used to drink. Or I would just drink some tea, or I would just try to eat something small to kind of get my system revved back up. The combination of just the fasting, and when you fast, you kind of pee a lot, you lose a lot of water, your electrolytes and stuff get off. And then if you follow that up with diarrhea, you can really get very dehydrated. So guys, you got to do your research. You got to do your research before going into this, because there are a lot of ways in which you have to prepare to be able to do this. Because if you just go cold turkey, it's going to have some very uncomfortable side effects that will make you say, I'm never going to do this again. The experience was great because I learned so much. So as a lifestyle, I will not do alternate day fasting as a lifestyle, kind of every other day type of thing. But I will incorporate alternate day fasting maybe 3 times out of the month. So once a week, and then the week during PMS, or I guess until my cycle stops altogether, I will not do any sort of fasting, right? Like now I am in a fast right now. I'm going into this is my last 36-hour fast. I am about a week out from my cycle being off, and it feels so much easier to fast now. I have been drinking more water. That was one of the mistakes that I made during the month. I was drinking a lot of electrolyte type of drinks, but not a lot of water. So I started drinking 2 liters of water a day. And I only would do like electrolytes when I would like have diarrhea or something like that, when I needed to replenish electrolytes. And I feel like that made my body feel so much better. So I'm just drinking a lot of water, and right now I am deep into a fast, probably almost 24 hours into the 36-hour fast, and I feel fine. A little bit hungry, but nothing that I can't handle. I feel like throughout the course of the month, my body kind of got used to fasting. And so when I'm outside of PMS and when it's just normal, nothing else is going on with my hormones, fasting has become a little bit easier for me. So now I know that I should be able to incorporate alternate day fasting at least once a week for 3 weeks out of the month. And I think that my body can absorb that, and I can handle that, and I can commit to that. So that is what I plan to do. Let me see if I have any other notes. I think that was my overall experience. Like I said, definitely it is the thing that has worked the best for weight loss. However, for me, the quick and extreme weight loss is not worth all of the other things you have to deal with to get there, right? And I am not trying to lose weight fast. Like, I mean, a year is long enough to lose these 50 pounds. Now I have it's less than 50 now, guys. It's kind of like 38 because I'm getting there. Yeah, if I lost 5 pounds a month from now until November, I would lose 45 pounds. And I'd only need to lose now about, less than that, 38 or something like that. So that is very comfortable for me. And I'm still working on that regimen that's going to be the thing that I do. Like I talked about in past videos, I do not want to do any one thing forever. I can't do any one thing forever. And I think your body kind of gets used to the same thing, and so you don't get the same results. So I did the walking challenge for 31 days. I did the alternate day fasting for 31 days. And Troy has been doing this with me, and it's so crazy how different this experience is for a male and a female. Now, Troy was very successful with this alternate day fasting. It wasn't as difficult for him because he doesn't deal with the hormones. He just doesn't like the regimen of it, and you can't strictly stick to it because of all of the life things, Super Bowl and all the things. He said he just didn't prefer it. Like, he just did it with me, but he says he doesn't prefer this. But I'm just trying to think about it. I'm like, okay, I want to do something else for March. I want to do something else to see how my body responds to it. And so I think for March, we are going to do a carnivore diet for the month of March. So for the month of March, my goal is to eat only meat. I can fast if I want to, which I probably still will do a 36-hour fast at least once a week. And that's only for 3 weeks out of the month. Other than that, I think I'm not going to fast because I want to kind of isolate this carnivore diet and see how that does, how I feel with the carnivore diet. I am in perimenopause overall, so I'm interested to see how carnivore diet will work on someone who's in perimenopause. So I am my own research study, and I am sharing it with all of you. So that's what I think I'm going to do for the month of March, which that would start tomorrow. And I don't think there's any major things going on in the month of March that would stop us from doing it. But like I said, follow me on Instagram, guys, because I post in my stories kind of what's going on. I try to do it on a daily basis. So I will post on my stories. Instagram, I am LaWanda Bird. So follow me there. And then you can see kind of what's going on. If something happens and we go out or something and we eat, because even when you go out, you can still eat carnivore. But if something happens where I say, okay, I'm not going to do carnivore tonight, I will just document that and I will let you guys know. And then, of course, at the end of March or beginning of April, I will tell you guys how it went. But guys, I did it. My goodness, did I learn so much. Guys, if you have any questions, please put them down in the comments. I will answer all of your questions. And I hope I'm not leaving anything out, guys, but I did it. And if you were also doing it, put it in the comments and let me know what your results were. My weight loss journey is going so well, guys. I am ahead of where I needed to be. I'm sure that weight loss is going to slow down. I think, who knows, with carnivore, I may do pretty good, but I would imagine that weight loss is going to slow down, which is fine because I really can lose half of what I lost this month going forward. And I just think that's better for my body, is to just a slower weight loss and not something so extreme. But I did it. All right, guys, so thank you so much for stopping by today. I hope you guys have a happy, safe, and healthy week, and I look so forward to coming back the next time. All right, guys, take care. Bye.